Hello again, brothers and sisters. Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And, let's say it. It is Talcott time. Thank you for sharing your time, energy, attention, encouragement, predictions. Welcome, Smith. Welcome, Provo. Amen. Fresh stream is the hope, it is the intentions. Welcome, Jason C. What's up, Cynthia? Rebecca Joe, and I'm sure many others will join. Although there's a lot of competition in the YouTube realm at this time for those maybe who are normally my viewers. This life is really an interesting thing to experience. And then you bring in the YouTube, the virtual realm that's been developing. Brings a whole new dynamic to the equations as far as relationships and time and energy. What do you do? What do you do with all of the options that life can bring? How do you know what is best for you on that day, at that time? How do you know what is the best purpose for your time? It's real easy not to even think about that. It's really easy to get up, dust the cobwebs out of the ear, pick up the day's troubles from the day before, and then head right into some schedule that was remembered. It's real easy not to think. But brothers and sisters, I think it's really time for more people to kind of detach and stop and really think about what it is they've heard. What is it do you know? Why do you think you know those things? What are you supposed to do? Are you supposed to still live the same old life that you used to, maybe that your parents were living? Are you supposed to live the same as the past in this time of complete chaos and change? I mean, I thought about pulling up some of the current news and, reminding people of things that are going on besides just the dramas of the close relationships we might have. See, the drama of relationships, it can become consuming, man. You have a problem in your family, in someone you love, you have a problem in that dynamic of trust and bond. It can consume your time and energy, even when the other people are away, even when the problem is distant, it's not around you. It can be consuming when we have these problems. Excuse me, but this world, it's kind of ass backwards. And when you stop and think about it, when everyone stops to think and, wonder about why are things the way that they are? Why do we still... We are literally just collectively, without thinking about it, we're participating in a society that human beings, people like you and me, everyone else, we have to pay money in order to learn, to live. We got to pay money to survive. In some great aspects, it's hard, very, very difficult to avoid that reality. And on top of that, the same time it costs human beings money to survive, other human beings are paid money to go murder. Soldiers, right? Mercenaries, contractors. And then you bring in the enforcement and investigatory agencies, and we are living in a surveillance state, police state, voluntarily. I mean, I don't know who knows what, but in the free world that we're supposedly a part of, I'm, again, speaking as an American, but there's America, parts of Europe, there's other parts of the world that are more free than us, I think. But we're here to change the world. Mondays, it's Monday energy. And I actually stopped to catch an astrology reading recently. I think it was just yesterday, and it was talking about how the Venus going in retro, and we're going to be dealing with like some emotions and some old abandonment, or whatever, some old issues from the past are going to come up. And today and tomorrow may be very emotional days. There's a lot of energies, and then the sun is beaming its energies at us too. It's fucking amazing, man, to be alive. When you think about all the forces of nature that are like flowing all around us, influencing what we are, how we think, what we do, it's pretty amazing. It's easy to forget that within all the chaos, there's an eternal and a constant stillness. And within that stillness, there is a bliss. And that, in that moment, in that experience, that's oneness. When you can dissolve away into nothingness, into the stillness of being, with the knowing of still being. Man, I think that's why we're here as human beings. We're here. God has allowed us to grow and develop into organically and chemically what we are. Materially, what we are. The past has evolved and unfolded into today. And today it's brought us all to where we are, what we know. But the egoic mind, the selfish mind, the primitive part that's within us, it wants to just find comfort in being a hunter and a gatherer, collecting things along the way to make itself feel better and bigger and more. It's real. The entire consumerist economic system we have, it's so bullshit, man. This service industry, that's what so many jobs are. And there is something noble to serve another man, to serve some comfort, some joy to another. That is our purpose. But man, what has happened is, in the collective in America, the children have been taught that you got to just obey. And if you don't have a job, well, then you're worthless, right? So it's better to go get a job where you obey somebody all day and you don't think for yourself. It's better to do that so you can fit in and survive. It's better to do that than detaching from everything, going within, investing in yourself, bringing your most valuable commodity. The most valuable commodity each of us have is our time and attention. Because through that time and attention, you can bring inspirations, you can solve problems, you can learn new things, you can change your life just through moments of time and attention for a specific and intentional purpose. These lives we've been gifted with, man. There is so much hidden potential that's right there, right in front of all of our faces, all of our eyes. That's just the vastness of everything. It can be confusing and humbling. And with the confusion and our darkness, our limits of knowledge, we can start feeling afraid. But see, that goes back to that primitive hunter-gatherer who instinctually uses fear to keep itself alive. We've been brainwashed so that people like take pills instead of dealing with their fears. They take pills so they can continue being employees until they're too old, and then they get thrown away to fend for themselves or to perhaps hope family to care for them. But holy cows, this world we've been gifted in. I started out Monday energies. I drifted off into the universal energies. The Monday energies of going back to work, starting the mountain of another week, it can become pretty burdensome, kind of encumbering. So today, Monday motivation. I want to offer some encouragement, maybe plant some seeds of thought, some ideas, hopefully in the minds of anyone who might come this way. Someone who might hit play or join the way. I want to plant the ideas that our future, it starts emerging today, right? And there is a better future available for us all. It's waiting for us to imagine, right? First, we got to think past the problems, think past the worries, think past the schedule and the commitments. Oh, yeah, the entertainments and all the sports statistics. We got to think past all that. And then once you get through all the worldly clutter, then you can start moving into the unknown. And first, to know the unknown, you got to first humble yourself to the fact that you don't know. You know, a lot of people go around saying, I know this, I know that. You know, I know the future. You did this. It's like, what the so what? You know something. Congratulations. Doesn't mean you're right. Back to the unknown. The unknown is the future. If we can like move past the patterns of thoughts, you know, we picked them all up over the years. Break past those patterns of thoughts into the new, into the wondering. How often do you spend wondering? Not thinking and remembering or figuring out, but how long do you humble yourself to just wonder? To turn yourself over, to turn that question, the answer over to the greater spirit, to the greater universe, to the greater knowing of you. How often do you allow yourself to wonder? Because it's through wonder that we start to ask the right questions. And through wonder, we start to expand our thinking. We start asking the questions. And through the seeking, through our own expansion, our own intentions and choices, through the seeking, we find the right questions. And through questions, we receive the answers and meanings, the truth. The truth is what we want to seek. We want to know the truth. And we've got to humble ourselves to sometimes the unknowable. But back to the motivation. If you can first place some time in wondering what a better future could be, wondering what a greater experience for yourself could include, wondering what you might do to help improve someone's day or your day, moving into the wonder and then imagining, spending time with the tool, with the gift of imagination for beauty, for love, for healing, for solutions. It's really easy to use the tool of imagination to create these drama and victim and revenge stories that can get quite dark, almost scary. So Knowing that there is a path to darkness within, recognize there's also a path to the greater light. And the greater light is greater wisdom, greater intelligence, greater peace, greater abundance, greater expansion. So, if we can imagine a greater future, imagine a future experience that we can feel right now, today, right? If you, whatever your heart desires, believe the answer is there. Believe the world is waiting for you to receive it. The solutions, the desires, they're all there waiting. So if you can imagine the experience of a success, of abundance, of health, of whatever it is you want to achieve, and then take that experience and place your mind figuratively in the future, in that place of success, with that perspective, who could you help from there? Right? Because if you can imagine yourself with greater rewards for the purposes of creating a greater world, a greater experience for others, that is what the universe wants to reward. The universe wants us to take actions in faith for the purpose of greater world, greater peace, greater love, greater knowledge, greater health. That's what the universe is for. That's what life is. This society, through its limits of authority and wealth, they've defied the natural laws of living, and it's divided us. We've allowed ourselves to become divided as a species. We've divided ourselves from each other, from nature, from God, from the oneness of being, from the completeness of being ourselves. We've detached ourselves from that because people convince themselves, well, I've got a family, I got to go do this job. In other words, I got to stay away from the ones who I love so they don't receive my gifts, my wisdom, my time. I got to go sell my time to an employer or to a customer or someone else. Life is about balance. And there is a clear imbalance in the distribution systems and the way knowledge is distributed through our society. There's some real kinks in the distribution of knowledge, information, and wealth, the access to resources. We got some kinks that I know I'm not the only one who's recognizing the problems. I feel isolated from others who believe there's solutions, right? I know I'm not alone in the belief that there are solutions available, that we can be a part of transforming the world. I know I'm not alone in that belief, but I'm feeling isolated from others who share that. I invite all of you, anyone who might listen, to join my beliefs, my faith that there's a loving God that wants us to thrive. There's a loving God that wants us to end wars amongst ourselves. There's a loving God that wants us to care for each other's children, to love each other as brothers and sisters of the divine creation of time and space. There's a loving God that is. And there is no separation. I stopped imagining separations from me and God, started wondering, what if? What if God was real and this is all part of God's plans? And what if everything has been revealing itself perfectly? I feel at peace, trusting that. I really do. And my prayers each day, if that makes sense, God's evidence is known as now because I only live right now. You only live right now. This morning, poof, gone. Those memories, those grudges, everything from the past history is done. It's irrelevant except for the information that you learned. And there was information from the past. There will be more information revealed to you in the future, but there's information experienced right now. And I don't trust my memories over my experience anymore. I trust my discernment and I pay attention to the world as it reveals itself to me, moment by moment by moment. And I live within the moment, and doing so, bringing my attention and my focus within me, my experience of being throughout the moments of the day. Now is the eternal moment. So I believe the eternal life is becoming one with the moment, which is eternal. So that's what I've been doing in my days. Seriously, each day feels like a lifetime. Each morning I am born renewed, refreshed. Well, sometimes I got to remind myself, admittedly, I share that, but it's the practice I'm getting more comfortable with, that's for sure. Because I'm pretty sure, like I said, that I have found my way today, these days, this modern age, found my way to the way. I know there's many Christians and religious people who have found their ways to religion, but I don't see them living a life with God in their hearts. I see them living trapped in their mind and their memories and their interpretations of a book. And I see them living in judgment of the world that God has created and revealed. So what I see from Jesus is he was a man gifted, blessed, came with a chosen purpose and a clear purpose that was prophesied, apparently. And so it was a demonstration for mankind, not just the Jewish people, not just, it was a demonstration for mankind of what we could do. See, look back, your knowledge of history the past 2,000 years. Yes, there's been a lot of corruption and destruction used in that image, in that name. But one man has transformed the world. You can't deny that. I think the name of Jesus, Yeshua, is known through the world. That was by a purpose, right? There's a story that we are living through. It's the story of creation. It's recorded in the Bible and interpretations of some of the history, mythology, whatever. I mean, this is God's story we are living in. And if we can humble ourselves to that, how blessed we are to have been chosen. I don't remember making a choice, but somehow I was allowed or I was chosen to come here, to be here on earth. Because the way I see it, right, we're all born under these astrological signs. There is some connection and divinity to interpreting the universe. So every one of us come into this realm with our own unique signature, energetic signature, and our signature is developed and designed based upon the entire universe, in theory. So God, with its infinite wisdom, it knows the future, the past, it knows everything. So it's saying, at this time on Earth, I could use this energetic frequency, this vibration of a being, this personality here on Earth, this potential. So all of us were born into our families with the energetic potential from the divine, gifted us with life, the gift of breath, which breathes us, and there's a spirit which is guiding us through the development. But we get to choose the path somehow. I don't know at what level we get to actually choose, but I know I make all my choices based on the information that's revealed to me. And we all do that. We're all doing our best. If you can remind yourself, sometimes it's okay not to succeed. Sometimes it's okay not to be liked. Sometimes it's okay to let people down. We all do it. But what we do with those things, that's what develops our character. If you let a moment of hurt, a moment of pain, betrayal, mistake, lack of judgment, if you let a moment transform you with darkness, it's an option. You can do that. You can carry your bitterness, your resentment, your insecurities, as long as you want. I did that. You can also, within a moment, like just instantaneously, so I have experienced, you can transform your life with light as well. By allowing some love within you, for you, healing the inner child, strengthening the victim of the past that was you, because we've all been a victim and perhaps we've all been abusers in our own varying degrees. That's what all of this is. We are all the same, just varying in uniqueness and different degrees. It's such a blessing. I feel blessed, okay? Here's where I'm coming from, brothers and sisters. I'm kind of changing the topic. I feel blessed by what I've been allowed to learn of. What I've been allowed to learn has transformed my inner state of being to where I am filled with gratitude. I have so much gratitude for even the people who want to make fun of me. I mean, it's not been easy to do, but I am kind of proud of what I've been developing into, even though people want to there's many people. I'm glad to see you here, Kay. There's many people who want to claim an association with me as though they know me, as though they have a relationship with me. Particularly those people who I have extended my own kindness, generosity, my own trust, my own encouragement. There's been a few people who have received from me privately, and then I see them avoiding what I've committed myself. Hey, let me set some time aside for you for the purposes of helping you. Similar to what I did for myself and what others helped me do for myself, I'd like to help you gain some clarity in your life, maybe find that spark of purpose and direction for you so you live the life of your dreams and you continue to make a better world for others. I've committed my time and energy to several people making this offer, only to never have been explored. My offer has never been explored, never been taken advantage of, but then I've been painted as though I've demanded they listen, when I'm simply suggesting that people's lives improve when you follow through with the words you say. I offer things with full intentions of following through, not just for saying that I did it. See, and then that's the other thing. I've had people help. Maybe you've experienced these things yourself. You know, I've had people say they've helped me, did nothing for me. They found something simple that didn't work. They made a half-hearted effort, and they tell themselves for the rest of their lives they did what they could. I know I'm not unique in the way that people behave, but I just find it so odd that to this date, July 24th, I've still not found anyone willing to break the patterns. I mean, I see my name spoke about on the YouTube platforms. I'm mocked when I do a short stream. I'm mocked when I have people join. I'm mocked when I don't have people join. Special K, if you can't start holding your comments within you, learning some self-control, your judgment is your problem, lady. Your lack of follow-through is your problem. If you're saying you've been there since day one for me, you can go away. I don't need people lying, telling themselves and others things that are not true. I've repeatedly asked you, when are we going to talk? When are we going to start working together? You claim to have talents to share. You claim to have the ability, claim to have the willingness, yet selfishly made no time to help discuss, work together. See, this is where Jack, I'm challenged because I don't want to sound narcissistic or like some whatever, anything special. But I think if people would listen to me the way I'm describing what's happening, you may learn about how others are treating you. And what I'm learning is that God is within me. I'm damn confident. If I'm real, God is real. God is right here with us all. So I'm not a doubt in my mind of that. Yet people claim to know me, talk about me quite insultingly. People talk about me, insulting me, blaming me, mocking me, fearing me. Different people find different reasons to stay away and to keep me out of their lives. They don't find time or interest in sharing attention with me. And then when I do follow back, and I keep circling back to people who've told me they've been friends or told me they were there to help me succeed. I keep circling back to them only to get excuses. So the excuses for the past just make them feel better and still offer no solution. So life, I mean, if you're dealing with this, please, I'm not complaining. I'm observing, and I know I'm not different. So if you get people who are avoiding you, not understanding you, recognize that God is with us all. Okay. And God is the truth. God is the love. What people are doing with our confusion, what happens in relationships between us and God as well. Okay. What happens in the micro is the macro, and what is true on many different perspectives. So when I say these things, it applies to the relationship within yourself, applies to the relationship between us and God, us and our family, us and people. Our mind, our egoic judgment, our insistence we be right, we jump to conclusions, and our judgment will create reasons to separate us, reasons to say why we're different. And then through that, subconsciously, we create these resentments and guilts. And it's actually resentment and guilt, the shame that comes with those things. It's the shame of resentment and guilt which keeps people away. Hopefully that makes sense. Welcome, Cynthia. How are you?
Hello, Jack. How are you today?
I'm feeling blessed.
Awesome. Me as well. Hey, I heard I'm your person now. I think I got fired from Paul's panel. That's what I heard a couple of days ago. So I was like, okay. So yay! Hey, Jack and Cindy.
If that was you in the chat, I didn't intentionally ignore. I saw it, but I wasn't sure if it was an imposter, and who knows what's going on, man.
Right. So
holy cows.
Yeah, those fake Cynthias, whew, they're a lot. And they're confusing a lot of people, but they're kind of funny too. So it's the metaverse. Well,
I think we got some lag. I don't mean to overtalk. Cynthia and Jack. Hey, who knows, man? I have been looking to build a team, to build a community. I understand you have similar ideas of community and helping share knowledge with each other.
Yeah.
I want to change the world, and I don't think that's a secret.
I wanted to read my calendar of the day, and it says, I have held many things in my hands, and I have lost them all. But whatever I have placed in God's hands, that I still possess. Martin Luther. I thought that was fitting for what you were talking about today.
That's interesting. Everything that I claim to have worked for and earned is gone. Nearly. No, pretty much everything. And that was before, but I worked and earned all those things before God was even a consideration. But I'm telling you, there's a lot of similarities between the lessons taught in the book of Job and my life. I didn't go nearly the destruction that poor soul faced with family and everything, but everyone around me, my closest friends, wanted to blame me for everything that was happening. And unlike Job, though, I didn't go in with faith. I was a good guy. I considered myself a good guy, but the faith emerged through my surrender.
And you do remember Job got back everything he lost threefold. So your story's not over.
Amen. I realize that. And I know the Bible says a lot of things about blessings and whatever. I don't allow myself to spend much time imagining things like that. Not anymore. Because at this point, I'm just grateful.
Amen.
I'm grateful that God has allowed me to learn what I have and to be as I am.
Indeed. Because you're made perfectly, so what we are, like, we're made. Um, yeah. So today's Jennifer Lopez's birthday. She turns 54. Can you believe she's 54?
Holy cows.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's about right, I guess. It's been a long time, man. This life has been a long time. I feel like I've lived for a long time, and I don't know. I have hopes, though. I do. I say I don't spend much time imagining, but I envision somehow, some way, God's going to use me to help. We'll use diplomacy and negotiations. We're going to end wars and debts. We're going to set humanity free around the world. And so then I see that God might, if that happens, well, then I want to travel the world, go to some of those ancient spiritual sites, and I want to see more of what Earth has to offer.
What have you ever thought that maybe you're not already doing those things? That you're not helping people in their spiritual warfare? Out of every panel I go to, you are the only one that consistently talks about God every day. And you consistently share your story and your struggle with that. So sometimes I have found in my head, I will have these grand visions of something and not realize what I'm wanting, I already have. It just doesn't look the way I thought it would. You envisioning ending wars amongst countries, but I feel like ending a spiritual warfare is much more valuable than ending a military war. And I think that's great that you want to travel. Please continue with that imagination. But you do travel here. So many of the audience is from different countries. So don't say you want to, say you are doing this. You are doing this already. It just isn't what you thought it would look like yet, but it is there.
No, I realize.
Mm-hmm.
I do hope the numbers have, I try not to pay attention to results, to the numbers, but I know that it's a factor that shows what I'm doing, how well the results are being offered. And I don't know what to do. I know the value of what it is I'm trying to offer, but I don't have testimonials, right? Um, you know, Kay mentioned it. She told me she would be willing to become my first client. I've tried working with others in the past, but so if just for whatever reason, my experience has been for the past 5 years, humans do not like to cooperate with me. Now, what if, though? What if this is a sign for the world? People are not cooperating with God, with what God wants us to do. I mean, if someone would allow me into their life, I know their ways of thinking could improve. And through their improved ways of thinking, they could feel better. And with better feelings, they would produce a greater life for themselves and the people they care about. But people don't, for whatever reason, this is the life I'm allowed to live, and I fucking love it.
Well, that's good. I'm glad to hear it.
Well, I was watching the Z and Paul drama earlier. I tried to go and help. When I first saw Z, I thought he might actually help communicate with Paul.
Mm.
And today I saw Z doing a very good job. I hoped to help, but my efforts were not, it obviously wasn't helpful, so I left.
Yeah,
But
I was over there as well. And I just didn't join the panel A because I'm always at work when I'm on the panel. So I wasn't at work, I was cleaning. But it felt like that was definitely a male thing, and I would have done served no purpose coming up on the panel. There was some things. See, I've never watched this guy, that Z guy. I've seen him
mhm.
around, but I've never really interacted with him. But it was really, did you hear him talk about he used to wake up with a murder on his mind every day, and then every night he was just happy he didn't murder somebody? Did you hear that?
Mhm. It was being honest. I've gone
Yeah.
through periods of darkness like that myself. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really disheartening that he was in that place. You know, he did speak about he was no longer there and that he was growing.
Mhm.
So maybe from my observation of the panel, it just feels like he's not ready for Paul yet. Not that he won't be there someday, but he's not ready. And I did hear you, I did see you mention something about Paul and about his disrespect, and what was the other word you used? You used another word.
Negativity.
Negativity. And I personally have don't never had any issues with Paul. I think he's a hard talker. And what I mean by that is he's just a brute, a manly man. You know, he doesn't get into his feelers when he's speaking. That is definitely where
Oh,
you and him.
no. No. That is bullshit, Cynthia. He is constantly in his feelers. You don't hear him? He gets going on his fucking rants. It's this
Well,
feminine bitch energy coming
oh,
out of him. Strong.
oh my goodness.
You don't see that?
No, I
Holy
just see him
cow.
as being a man, like just being like,
No, Cynthia. Here,
no.
here, I love you. I do,
Are
but
you kicking
you,
me off?
no,
Oh,
no, I want to reason with you,
uh-huh.
okay? Because there's many people who admire his arrogance and his confidence, call that manly. He's a little bitch.
What?
He's he is an emotional child drawing on his feminine anger and his judgment and despise and disgust. It's fear and anger that fuels his mind.
I
Here.
really don't get that. But I do
No.
get this is his therapy. I
Amen.
do
It
get
is.
I do get this is his routine, and I think that he does well in a routine, as most people do. Like when you have a routine, it's one thing. Like I was recently off for 4 days, and I did nothing because I didn't have to do anything, and I didn't do anything. I think that holding himself accountable and showing up 7 days a week is his routine and his therapy. But it's entertainment. Like that,
Cynthia.
he's playing the character. He's a character.
Yes. Yes. He's lost in his character.
You think
He's
so?
lost. Yes. I don't believe he has discussed. I don't believe he has discovered his true self. He's found his way on this platform, standing strong in truth, in the confidence that he is, and he is a gifted man.
Mm-hmm.
But I've described it to him as well that I see him self-sabotaging. He's holding himself back. He's making excuses why he won't go to other people's platforms. They got to come to him. He's got to be Papa, got to be in charge, right? But in the meantime, he makes himself available for people who lack purpose for their own time. And so they come and they enjoy the banter and hanging out with somebody tough like Paul. It's toxic. It's not toxic. It's not healthy. Chuck, thank you, brother.
It's not gentle. It's not peaceful.
Amen.
That's funny because I met him when he came to another panel that he had never been on before. So
he's a gifted young man, but honestly, what I saw Z describing to him was very insightful. Paul, and I've said this to Paul as well, he's got issues from his past, which he carries around distrust as a badge of honor. He places himself above everyone else because they don't conform to Paul's rights, Paul's standards, Paul's freedoms. So I've allowed myself to submit and to be disrespected and to be mocked. And I've been allowed myself to be used, which Paul says, nobody's going to use me, but he's been using me in quite a disrespectful, unhelpful fashion for my purpose, my goals. But God is divine. So Paul is a man who pushes away people who love him. Look how he treats his dad. Look how he treats me. He pushes people away who want him to do better. Because if he did better, he'd have to change. And he's afraid of change because in the past, change has probably brought hurt. Mm-hmm. It's a common symptom of society, but denial. And that's what Paul has. He's got people around him who love him and care about him, enabling his arrogant and disagreeable behavior.
Oh, you got a super chat.
I saw that. Oh, I did recognize it. I didn't know if you saw.
Oh, I didn't know. Sorry. I don't know. I understand what you're saying. That's not been my personal experience with him. But then again, I know, like, you see all the fake Cynthias and the page. There's nudes of me. Somebody made nudes of me.
Is there really?
Yes, somebody's made nudes of me on the internet, and all of that I just let flow off my back because I don't pay attention to that. I look past all of that, and I try to see where their heart is. And I do see Paul can be abrasive with you at times, but I also see when you are in your Jack state, he's constantly still right there with you and not breaking that connection with you. Like he's trying to carry you through it and push you through
Cynthia,
it. That's from what I see.
I understand, and I can respect your perception, but I know for a fact that what I am dealing with is you are making excuses for an excellent manipulator. Paul is excellent at gaslighting, telling other people the false reality. I want to just hit this. So much for Paul and Jack getting along. Well, again, my trust and respect have been offered to Paul, but he doesn't stop insulting my name every chance for no reason. No reason my name will come out as some derogatory insult. Why? Because Paul's a little bitch. Oh. He gets jealous. He's jealous. His viewers got fired. Yep, could be. His viewers went to Z's channel. How dare they? That's betrayal. And then people, Z, myself, others, you will share time on his platform for the purpose. We don't receive enrichment from that. Paul does. Paul makes sure that all proceeds go to Paul, including that Talstock event. All the money I didn't see a dime of that. I had to go pay for my own shit. I didn't receive
Oh, really?
anything.
Oh, wow. I
Right.
didn't know that.
Right. Paul's a user. He's a grifter. He
Uh,
takes advantage of people and projects his behavior onto others. So
hmm.
it's an excellent, excellent display of gaslighting, manipulation, and eventually the truth of me will be validated by others. And then when the truth of me is validated, Paul will be shown to be a false light, as I've said. Paul thinks I give you super chats to get at him. However, I give when you inspire something in me. There could be some truth, though, Chuck, in what Paul said. Okay. Paul does have an excellent insight in finding the devious and the untruthful part of us. He does have a way of doing that, but he also projects his behavior. So you know what? He may get
I'm
jealous.
shocked to hear these things you say about him, and I can tell that you really feel them because I see you on. I'll probably see you on his panel later.
Probably.
So
And I
that's
would,
where the confusion comes in for me
well,
because. Go ahead.
can I help?
Yeah.
There is a reason. I've said these things to Paul. I've tried repeatedly having a conversation with Paul. And actually, I actually considered tagging Z in this with an invitation, hope he would show up, because I see the connection and trust Paul has in Z. I think Z could help Paul see himself a little more clearly. Where I'm at with Paul is I'm prepared to walk away too. I mean, I don't give a shit, really. He can stay doing his 7 days a week, telling himself he's changing the world while yelling profanities at everybody all day. He can tell himself that for the next 5 years. I don't give a damn, and I wish him success.
Mm-hmm.
You know, please, anyone who wants, please support Paul so he has convenience to continue his habits of consumption and comfort. I want him to have the best. Me, I want better.
Yeah. Support
And
Jack.
I actually
On his page. um. Well, okay. Well, that's just interesting to me. Well, I'm a little different, like that Mitchell guy. Like that Mitchell guy, I would never like anybody who threatened to file a lawsuit against me would never step on a panel with me. And y'all, and yes, it might be Mitchell just being Mitchell, but if you make that type of threat against me, I have to treat it that way, and I need to keep you far from away from me. So I see a lot of that in this community. Y'all become frustrated with each other, y'all lash out at each other, and then y'all run off together and create content together. So I guess from someone just looking on the outside, like that's just not like how I roll. I don't know how else to say it.
Yeah, here's the thing, Cynthia. For the love of God, maybe just for a moment, maybe wonder, why does Paul continue treating me the way that he does, even when I'm kind enough to forgive and return,
Right.
even when I'm kind enough to allow him to join here, even have some fun with giving him control here. So why does Paul see, Cynthia, this is what I don't understand. You're part of that. You fell into the cult of Paul. It's like you guys are blinded. You're right. I know, because you're blinded for some reason, but all the evidence is there. Do you not see problems with his behavior? No downside whatsoever to what he does for his broadcast?
I see that it doesn't have structure, and until he decides to form that structure, it won't go further. That's
Right.
what I do see. But I also feel like he needs that right now. Like Jack, I will blow a tree all day long. Okay. Like, okay, paradise. But never once have I ever tried another drug, especially something like heroin. I've watched several people talk about their heroin uses, and it's never an experience I want to experience. You see, I think he's OD'd at least once, maybe twice. Like that's a battle I have no understanding of battling. So the way I view it, I view this is just his therapy. This is where he's at. He's getting it together a little bit more, like with the Jack line was great. Now he's developed his StreamYard, but it's gonna only happen at his pace. And I
Right.
think that's who I am. I'm somebody that always allows the other person to be themselves and not
Cynthia.
try to change it,
Yes,
but to see it.
I understand that, and I can respect that approach.
Hmm.
I'm suggesting it's not healthy.
Hmm.
Okay. And I'm suggesting it's not healthy because of my personal experience. What you're doing is enabling.
Mm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And that's what our entire society is built on. We can only live or learn today, right? So when Paul's being an asshat and disruptive, totally in his mind, casting false narratives that are really can damage reputations,
Mm. Absolutely.
right? Right, for someone who actually has the goal of helping others.
Hmm.
Can you maybe, Cynthia, consider this experience from my perspective with the ability to understand? I'm telling you, Paul is wrong.
Hmm. Oh, I thought you were going to say something else. I feel like y'all's dynamic is something that you both benefit from.
You're
You don't
lying to yourself, and I
you don't
don't
think
accept
that you
that.
benefit from his interaction with him?
My life has not improved. Um, Certainly, some of the subscribers can be credited to what Paul has done with mocking me. Certainly, some of the viewers come to see me get triggered and see me get disrespected. They want to see the same energy that Paul's platform does.
Hmm.
So that's actually the damages to my reputation, the insults and lies that, much of my time on the panel has actually been spent listening to people telling lies about me, their negative opinions from a distance,
Hmm.
or I've been facing false accusations.
Mm. Hmm. Well, fuck
So
Paul then.
how do you think besides what I've described? Oh, and Paul offered me opportunities to face some of my triggers,
Hmm.
to face some of the fact that I was naive in showing trust and respect to him without knowing him, right? To
Right.
just come forward believing that he was authentic. I was naive when I shouldn't have trusted him. So besides those things, Cynthia, how else has my life benefited from Paul? I mean,
I
he's gotten hours and hours and hours of content, at least what, 1,400 probably from the Talstock event, not to mention how much contributions he receives because he he makes a mockery of me. So weighing those two, Cynthia, in your outside perception, what do you think good
um
has been the benefit?
I have this saying: closed mouths don't get fed. And if I saw someone who was taking, I'm going to put myself in your place. If I had someone, a content creator who was using me to build their platform and was hosting events that only they benefited from and we didn't benefit from when we were there, I would wonder, when am I going to step up and take my spot? When am I going to step up and get my shit?
Mm,
You know what I mean? And
mm,
I couldn't
mm.
be mad at myself if I didn't step up and take it. And
Hey,
maybe that's what
Cynthia,
he's waiting for.
could be, could be. So you ignored the fact that Paul has refused. I mean, he said today on his stream that he's had personal communications with Z, with Moose, perhaps others.
Hmm.
I have had zero, right? He's responded to maybe one or two messages, and I'm not fucking emailing him all the time like a
Oh, okay.
bitch, like he says, okay? So Paul has not really allowed us any conversations, just like with Z, he's not allowed any conversations about the future.
Mm.
But so you didn't answer my question because you presented the claim previously that both Paul and I have benefited from our relationship
No,
and
I was
time
wondering, did
together.
you see benefit? Like, has your speaking, have you gained more confidence since being around him?
I wouldn't credit Paul for this. No,
Have you built more of an understanding of the metaverse and how to maneuver through it from working with Paul?
no,
No?
no. Well, you know what? Partial truth. Cynthia, again, I've credited Paul. For the life of me, every one of you in the cult is
I
so
got kicked out of the
reluctant.
cult. I keep trying to
Is,
tell you.
but you are, well, but you hold the mindset. It's like Paul does no wrong. You've heard it enough times because you spend enough time around him. Paul, God, Paul, Daddy, Paul. Paul does no wrong. Everyone else is wrong. Paul's right. Paul's right. Everyone else is wrong. And I'm telling you, Cynthia, fucking snap out of it.
Okay.
Try to consider the fact that I'm actually right.
Hmm.
Okay. I actually can help people who want to understand. I can explain everything about me, everything I've learned about the nature of our reality, about consciousness, about God. I can explain a lot of things.
Hmm.
I don't control the behavior or choices of others, Cynthia. I
Right.
control my own.
Absolutely.
I encourage anyone who wants to help Paul see his own behavior. And anyone who wants to help themselves, start looking at your own behavior.
Hmm.
Cynthia,
Mm-hmm.
see, I've said before that I'm hoping to find a way to convince people to take me seriously. I think ending wars is kind
Mm-hmm.
of important. And while people may not believe I have a way, until someone is willing to believe in me, how will we ever know?
Right. Hmm. Again, because from the outside looking in, it seems like y'all are close buddies. Like I said, you'll be on the panel later and y'all be laughing together. And
I
even the other day when you were
let's
said,
let's not count on this, right? You're presenting an argument. Let's not
right,
count on a future imagined scenario because at this point, Cynthia, you're probably going to be wrong today. Okay,
okay,
so let's not make a claim based on something you imagined. So you
okay,
want to present the case from the outside. Me and Paul are best of buddies.
right. That's the way it appears. Like even
It's
the other
how it
day
appears.
when we were all on your panel and you became Jack and you asked us all to leave, and then the next day you came back and you're like, hey, I really want to thank you. You helped me through that. I'm almost out of my feelers, and so I do see that type of benefit from the outside
Oh, but
looking in.
Cynthia, you're giving credit, my credit, the work I fucking do, the choices I make to overcome the disrespect.
Okay.
You want to give the credit to the abuser, to the one who disrespects the truth. Paul disrespects the truth. Cynthia, your
I'm listening. Oh
confusion,
my God, is
you know
that
what?
snafu?
It is. I don't know. Snafu, hold on. This is not a place for arguments and insults. We
I
can
was
have
just saying, what's going
discussion.
on, Mr. Talcott? The
Blessings. Good to
optics
see
are
you.
high, man. The optics
Okay.
are high.
Okay, thank you, Snafu. Go away. Um,
Oh, go away,
absolutely.
Cynthia.
You're
Jack, you're
absolutely
not
right,
listening to
Jack.
Jack here. Jack was trying to tell you something, and you're trying
Snafu,
to
stop.
undermine his logic of what
Snafu.
he just told everyone. You guys are culted up.
All right,
Well,
Jack,
I'm
you're
trying.
absolutely right. You are the one that does the work to overcome that disrespect. You are absolutely the one that sat in your
No, are you
feelings.
not listening to Jack? Am I Jack? Am I Z? Am I?
You were the
Please
ones that
continue.
sit in your fillers and process them and work through them. So yes, you are absolutely right. I can see why you say you're giving credit to Paul and not to me, because you are the one that did the work. So I do
Okay.
apologize for making you think that that's what how I meant it.
Thank you. Now,
Okay.
please also recognize what I had to overcome
Mm-hmm.
was the fact that right in front of my face, my platform, I'm being insulted. The truth is being insulted and disrespected. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, Cynthia, all of you who can't see a problem with Paul, you're going to learn eventually. Okay. Just like the people who can't see a problem with Trump or Biden, they're
Yeah,
going to learn,
I
right?
definitely see a problem with
There's
that.
no difference. But here's the thing, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what to tell each person. Cynthia, there's something within you that you're seeking. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
Oh
trust
yeah.
every one of us has come together for a reason. I think I could actually help people who want to believe they can improve.
Mm-hmm.
Cynthia, what I see in you is your ego is keeping you confused and you're preventing yourself from accepting the understanding that you already know.
Mm.
And I don't know why you're afraid to, you're not afraid to come to conclusions because you've come to many conclusions,
Indeed.
but maybe it's your conclusion. I don't know. There's something greater than all of us has brought us all together.
Mm-hmm.
I understand me. I understand how to communicate pretty well,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't understand what people want.
Do you ask?
Sometimes.
I can definitely speak on my behalf of what I get from Paul, and that's that I've definitely learned how to sit on a panel, and I've learned how to speak better, and to present my arguments better, and not to present them as I see, I feel, and take myself out of the equation if I'm going to bring any type of what's the right, I don't want to say disagreement, any type of view to the conversation, I guess I could say. So, and but that's all I went into it looking for. I wasn't looking for to get life advice from Paul. I wasn't going into it looking for maybe someday Paul and I will be buddies and we'll start chatting behind. I have no desire. Like
Did
I
you
only
lack a
went,
purpose?
huh?
Did you lack a purpose? You went
No.
without a
Mm-mm.
purpose?
No, I needed to develop this talent. I needed to develop it. And I felt like, okay, well, if you're going to do it, don't go to some pansy show. You know what I mean? Go to a show where the optics are high, as people say, where I'm considered the outcast as far as my belief when it comes to religion. Like, don't go into it somewhere where everybody agrees with me. Go into it somewhere where I'm the odd man out and see how am I going to fold? How am I going to handle myself? And I've learned a lot in this short amount of time, and things, ways that I need to improve, and the way I am perceived by others, specifically the people in the chat. And that's all I went into it for. I know how to create a show. I know how to create a good outline. I know how to gauge. What does this say? Until, hang on. Until you can succeed with peace with Paul, how are we supposed to believe you can in any wars? Oh, I think that's for you.
It is, but I wanted to address this because, Cynthia, I'd like you to consider this. I'd like everyone to consider this. What if? What if, as I've said before, and let me correct myself to give some more, re-clarify the credit from Paul. Since I've met Paul, I've become more comfortable on the streaming, in the video. I've been more comfortable in this and in confrontations, as you said.
I've seen a major improvement. I've seen it from you in this short amount of time. And let me give you your flowers now. Only you could do that work. Everybody could come and trigger you, but only you could change the way you handled it. So, and maybe you need to walk in there and sling your dick out. I used to always tell my son, rock out with your cock out. You know what I'm saying? Walk into those rooms and be like, I'm the one who did this work. You just played your part and did what you were supposed to do. You threw the rock at me, but I hit it back at you.
That's actually what I've been doing, but everyone wants to give credit to Paul for all my viewers and my growth, and everything that I've done is because of Paul, not because of me. And so I just want to head that bullshit off again. Absolutely. But let's come back to, I've said this before, I have grown. God allowed me, I've shared it in my streams. One of the things I focused on myself to grow in was grace. And admittedly, I still stumble and I still get frustrated, and I still push people away so that I can maintain my own grace, allowing myself to be a man of peace. That's why I shut down the stream recently. Right. So what if Paul and Wizard were like some low-level final bosses in my emotional development? This is God's story. We're just characters. I'm trying to fucking figure it out. Everyone else seems to think they have all the damn answers, telling me I'm doing it wrong. But you know what? What if we, as I've been saying, if we together stop enabling each other, if we come together, do an intervention on Paul and others to show them the behavior that they're showing, right? What if we do end disagreements? And what if maybe Paul becomes an ally for me, as I've been hoping? And what if through his help, we can open up doors of communication through the federal employers that fucking fired me for no reason? And what if they are a path to the American government? Like I've been saying, what if someone helps me resolve peace with Paul, what if that could be the first thing I need to change the patterns of disagreements that's been in my life? What if?
Hey, what's up, brother Jack?
Provo, welcome, brother. Good to see you, man.
What do you want to talk about today, dude?
I'm not sure. I started out, the idea was Monday motivation to help those who are still in those societal mindsets of getting back to the grind on Monday. I wanted to offer some inspiration. I wanted to share some more faith. But there's been a lot of emotional and relationship development in the YouTube streets today. Oh, fascinating news. Tommy reappeared, for those who may not have heard.
He was gone?
What the hell was that about, Jack? Don't even get me started. That's a whole nother show, Jack.
So you want to bring motivation, Jack. I like that. What's something that motivates you? Like, what motivated you to do the stream today? Was it to help other people? Was it to fulfill your own needs?
Provo, bless you. It was the thought. I have some people, because of the drama and the chaos, they've kept a safe distance from me, but few have reached out and said, hey, thank you. So Provo, yeah, it was the hope of offering some help and inspiration with others. So,
I like that.
and
Keep going.
hey, and the blessings of what the universe might bring if I drop the link. So thank you for showing up, all of you guys.
Of course, Jack. I've been finding going through your old material, I made a couple tributes to you, and you do offer words of praise and love, and I think that's your best message. And this Monday motivation, I needed it. And I listened to the beginning of your stream today, and you were talking about competition. And I think, Jack, sometimes our biggest competition is ourselves and the way we think. And if we can get past that competition with ourselves, we can not only motivate ourselves, but other people. What are your thoughts on that? Yours or Cynthia's? I mean, take it away, Jack.
I actually love competing with myself. I don't enjoy competing with others, but competing with the old version of me. Can I actually overcome this time? Can I do better this time? Can I improve? That's really the only competition we've got to have is with our old self.
I'd have to agree with you, Jack. You're in constant competition with yourself, right? So as long as you're learning, improving every single day, then I think you're on the right path.
Man.
Absolutely, I agree as well.
So that competition with yourself, there's an internal struggle as well. There's that good and bad, the selfish or selfless. There's always this dynamic, and I've been reading about prana recently, the life force energy, and some of the philosophies, the explanations of that concept. And dang it, I don't remember why I brought that up now, but this life, prana is I think one of the terms I saw was constant motion. And that's what we are. We are, even in a state of stillness, there is a constant motion, a constant activity of life within us and around us. But the stillness, man, that's where the joy is at.
Well,
Sorry.
yeah, Jack. It's kind of like Zen kind of ideas that you're talking about, like a lot of kind of Eastern philosophy type of talk. But pretty much what you're saying is, you can call it prana, chi, life force energy. But it really is all electromagnetic based, right? It's a force, electromagnetic force. Like Star Wars, they use the force or whatever. Same kind of an idea there. And what it is it's a thought, emotion, and action. Right?
Yes, it's beyond just the electromagnetic, but it is the field of consciousness. It's the spark of intelligence and desire.
Mr. Talcott, I heard that there was an intervention in order.
Well, I suggested an intervention, and I was quite blunt and even rude, insulting toward you today.
Well, what else is new? I mean, why change that pattern? Am I right? So did you see me like fucking completely expose the cosmetic warrior and all of his false self undoings online, like many other metaversal miscreants?
Paul, why are you so obsessed? How come everyone's so, not just you, how come everyone, including me, I fall into this sometimes? How come?
Oh, yeah, you're a bunch of bitches and hoes that never been nowhere and done nothing. That's why.
It's always the same fucking thing. How come we don't talk about like ideas or some sort of way to exit this fucking nonsense, or use it to our advantage, or get somewhere, or do something productive? It's always the same fucking shit. We're all fucking playing into
right. There's no way you do that on your own in your life on the ground, and then there's online metaverse, and you like either bring your life to that or
people in their real life. Some people, not
right, but you can't affect yourself and people around you in your real life, but you want to do it online. It's bizarre logic.
Hey, Paul, there is on Cage. Hold on, online or offline, the same principles apply. Small minds gossip, right? Small minds talk about people. You got a greater mind than that. I saw Z trying to reason with you. I showed up for a little bit to offer what I thought was helpful, because I feel that is kind of something I am skilled at, but wasn't welcomed. And then you chose to go ahead and insult me more afterwards. So
how did I insult you specifically?
Oh, I don't remember. It
Must have been really insulting.
Well, here's the thing, Paul. I don't need to remember the specifics. I remember the actions.
You remember how you felt. You remember how you felt.
Yep. I'm not here to persecute.
And you're not barred from
punish.
actions just because they're online either. Remember that.
All right. You keep having feelings about me online and not having the same amount of feelings for what you need to do in your own life. That's the problem. Satanic Warrior's problem as well. A lot of people's problem. Well, that's why I keep having to address it.
It's only a problem if you make it a fucking problem. It's not a problem. People know what you have to do. If you're a fucking goof, you're not going to learn, then you're not going to learn. But you don't have to be. You know, it's your own problem. Everyone has their own problem. You have your own problem too, don't you?
Well, here, Cage, the best way to resolve problems, disagreements, is through
your own problems
communication.
Yourself. You're your own worst fucking enemy.
Cage, if you can't, fuck, oh dear, go practice self-control. And then when you've established a little more, let me know, okay? We can discuss anything. It's very simple. We just got to listen to each other, accept that those are the words that are being revealed. Those are the truthful facts being shared. Consider what is said, and then we can respond. Okay, we don't have to have these constant disagreements and conflicts, Paul. They're not healthy.
What do you mean, me? I'm not even conflicted. I'm not even like, why are you saying I'm doing that? I'm not doing that right now.
Well, I experienced and witnessed attempts to resolve.
Oh, that's in the past. We're in the now. We're here right now.
Yes, we are. So we can have discussions, but we don't need to continue the patterns of conflicts and disagreements. And yes,
Agreed.
Paul, I did say that perhaps it's time for an intervention. Okay?
Here I am. Go ahead. Start intervening. I mean, I'm the only person who like actively seeks out my own intervention. Most people run from it. You ever watch those drug intervention shows? They're like right out the Motel 6 side door. I'm like, hey, I heard there's interventions going on. Can I be part of one? Go ahead.
I know.
So earlier, Paul, it was brought to my attention that the way I think about you is that I'm cult-like in the way that I view you. And so some of the issues that they have is that I brought up is that I felt like you were a hard talker, and that was just the way you spoke. You know, you're just a man being a man, and that's your personality. That's how you convey stuff. But it was brought to my attention that I'm enabling you by allowing you to be that way. So don't be that way. I don't know what to say.
Right. So now we have a man who's advocating that a woman tell a man how to be a man, and he doesn't understand he's in toxic femininity while you're in true femininity. You might want to help him out.
Who are you talking about?
Oh, whoever she was talking about. Who were you talking about, Cynthia?
It was me.
It was several people.
Oh, I didn't know who it specifically was. I would see. Okay, she tricked me. She tricked me on that.
Well, regardless, here's what the truth is.
Yeah,
the truth is, I'm not alone in what I've seen. Okay, you have through the path and events of the universal revealing of time through your choices and the choices of others. The past brought you to what you're doing every day. You've choosing to do this. You found your way into a leadership position, whether you fucking like it or not. That's where you are. Now you play a character. You play a character making the excuse of entertainment, disrespecting people for content, just pushing yourself around, being real aggressive in unhealthy ways.
Right, but in my life on the ground, as you saw from the woman who came here earlier on the broadcast and the woman who I was with before, that these women report that their happy with me on some level and they see life-changing results, that's something you would expect from a guru or a life coach, which you, of course,
I know you're perfect.
I didn't say perfect. You're doing the whole that I should conform to your results, you not mine, and I think that that's foolish. You will
find a disagreement for everything I say because you lack.
I'm just going to let you lead. I thought you were intervening.
You lack respect. And until you
I respect myself and the truth on some level. I don't respect others who don't respect themselves in truth, and I shouldn't.
Well, Paul, the problem is you make a judgment of others before you even fucking listen. And then you miss out on what the truth is, what people are actually saying to you, and then you ignore what you hear.
Is everyone doing that with you in your life or just me?
Just you, Paul. I'm talking about you.
Right, but you're experiencing that with pretty much everyone. So is it all of us, or is it maybe you?
There is the master manipulator with his pattern of deflection.
Okay, I would just think that if someone was going to be deemed credible, they'd have results to show to know whose perspective is more on par, right? So, like, if your
standard, your education.
No, I thought that was
according to your standard, your education. You choose what you believe. What I am saying to you and everyone else, brothers and sisters, this is a new time of life. You don't fucking know everything, Paul, and it would help you and your viewers if you stopped saying things as though you know.
Right. So I know me, and I'm going to speak for me and about me and from the position of me with my experience, just like you are. And we're going to... Why are you cutting me off? I just let you mute me. I could have unmuted. I didn't.
Yes, I realize.
So you're going to mute me to not cut you off and then cut me off as I speak after you speak. So it's do as I say, not as I do. You're doing it everywhere in your life.
Whatever
That's great.
Want to perceive. Here's what I wanted to interrupt. You're free to talk about yourself as much as you want, even though you're not accurate about yourself.
Right.
Okay? But when you make claims about me and others, you better check your fucking facts, brother.
Why? If I'm in...
Don't check your facts then. There is no resolve.
You realize I still have the keys, right? So why are we playing the false power games instead of just talking like grown people?
Because you don't allow discussions like grown people. You want to.
We were just discussing. I was in the middle of my perspective, right? See, this stuff doesn't apply to me. People could say whatever they want about me almost constantly. I just keep moving forward or talk about it. When I do it about you or others, it has to stop immediately because you don't like it. Or because you have no results to live or point to that make you out-compete what I'm bringing with my word.
Or this is my time, my platform, and I don't need you disrespecting.
All I said, I'm not disrespecting anyone or anything. Again, you're perceiving disrespect because I'm putting forth my perspective. That's a you problem.
All right. Tell you what, Paul, is there any resolve?
I don't know. You wanted an intervention on me, so I showed up. I tried to be nice enough to show up and be proactive to my own intervention.
Oh, you're back to the godlike, flawless, no reason to change, no incentive to fucking listen. If you don't leave, I'm ready to end this, and it will be because of my lack of patience with you.
So because you can't control your inner space, the rest of us have to suffer, is your narrative, like a baby and a child, right?
Offering nothing of value. I respect those who spend their time.
Well, did you ever think of just not talking about me and not bringing me up on a broadcast and not saying I need an intervention, and then when I show up, not being able to facilitate it, and then bitching about what happens, and then threatening everyone if it doesn't stop?
What is available besides your disagreement?
You could just ask me to not continue on this narrative like you did the other day, and I just stopped and we move forward. This is in your court at all times, and you guys don't get it.
Hey, Paul, what you don't understand, you arrogant fucking prick.
Right. There's all the anger and hatred and bitterness and resentment. Get it all up out of you.
Your lack of gratitude. So fucking
gratitude for what? What are you entitled to gratitude for? If you're grateful and thankful, why are you looking for gratitude? Ridiculous.
You need to leave, Paul.
Why do I need to leave? We could just change the discussion. Are you not capable of pivoting and redirecting and channeling your energy and motion, your emotions? Are you not mastering yourself or practicing that? Or do you just want to always get what you want when you want it, like a child?
Listen to your whiny little bitch voice.
I got it.
What you want when you want like a child.
Yeah, do you just want when you... I'm talking to you.
Voice,
you don't get it. That's the mode I
You
go
don't
in.
get
I'm
it.
doing like
You
a
don't
mama
get
to
it.
you.
You
I'm
don't
having
see
to play your
yourself.
mama and daddy. Do you want to be a little bitch forever? Do you want to get what you want when you want it? Or do you want to work on self-mastery? See, when I talk to you like a bitch, you complain I have a whiny bitch voice. If I talk to you stoic like a man, you say I'm beating up on you and bullying you. So which is it? Which would you like?
Paul,
Which aspect of self would you like?
Fucking child, and you are demon controlled. It's
Got it.
fucking disgusting. Hey,
Right. Hey, you can't
Provo,
control your inner space,
thank
and you're
you
going to say
for
I'm demon
showing up.
control.
Thank you for joining, Provo, Cynthia. I'm gonna.
Jack, we can.
Are you demon
cleanse
controlled,
the air.
Jack? Are you
Reset.
demon controlled right now? Can you
What is
not
the
redirect
purpose?
yourself?
Paul's gonna play this bullshit. What are you? Can you shut the fuck up?
Why is there 5 people backstage, all of which have you don't like in the past and have issues with me connected to my resentment? Wizard, Moose, yeah.
Jack, talk about it, Jack. Come on.
Okay, guys. No.
God
Why
bless
are
you,
you
Jack.
keeping them all backstage?
Okay, y'all are just
Why are they all
over
being-
Jack. Like,